Coming up on Valley View News, Santa Clarita approves a $3 million contract for a sports complex.
I'm pretty excited to see what the city has to offer.
Plus, a hidden gem in Panorama City helps people connect with local ecosystems.
They could see where their food scraps are composted, make waste visible again.
And one man creates a smiley landmark.
I did it for you.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Camila Acevedo.
And I'm Rocky Walker.
San Bernardino sheriff deputies killed a man suspected of a catfishing and a triple homicide. 28-year-old Austin Lee Edwards was accused of kidnapping a teenage girl. Edwards was a former Virginia state trooper who allegedly catfished the teen online. He allegedly set fire her home, killing her grandparents, 69-year-old Mark Winnick and 65-year-old Sherry Winnick, along with her mother, 38-year-old Brooke Winnick. He fled the scene with the teen in the car and was tracked down by deputies. He then got into a car chase and a shootout with the police and was killed on the freeway. Edwards drove across the country from Virginia to meet the teen in person. Police say she wasn't harmed.
The U.S. men's soccer team is under the spotlight after its social media account posted an altered Iranian flag. The altered flag was missing the revolutionary image of the nation's tricolor official flag, which contains the symbol for Allah. Hours after the original post, the altered flag was replaced with the official Iranian flag. The USSF said it made the alteration to show support for women in Iran who are fighting for basic human rights. Iran wants FIFA to ban the U.S. soccer team from the World Cup play as punishment.
Argentina's star soccer player Lionel Messi headlined in front of nearly 90,000 spectators. It was the largest number of fans to attend a World Cup in 28 years. Argentina beat Mexico 2-0. The match had several hundred more people than two previous games. One was the Brazil-Serbia game, and the other was Argentina's loss to Saudi Arabia. The numbers don't compare in the top 30 of all-time World Cup matches. In 1950, Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro held more than 170,000 spectators for a match. FIFA says the Lusail Stadium will stage the World Cup final on December 18th.
LA County reported 5,244 new COVID cases and 21 more virus-related deaths during a two-day period. The health department is still awaiting official hospitalization numbers. The county recorded 2,337 new cases as of last Friday and 2,907 for last Thursday, a two-day total of 5,244. Official case numbers are believed to be low because some people use at-home tests.
Flu, respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, and COVID-19 continue to plague Californians earlier than usual this year. State epidemiologist Dr. Erica Pan urges families to protect themselves from the viruses. Officials say prevention is crucial to keeping hospitals open.
In some regions of the country, we're seeing that the hospital system for pediatrics are at the point of almost being overwhelmed.
There's no cure for RSV, but medication can reduce its severity. People should wait 24 hours after symptoms have passed before ending their quarantines.
Health officials are reminding people to implement health precautions this holiday season as flu rates rise. Flu cases are rising because of an increase in gatherings. Doctors say those who get sick and haven't been vaccinated may experience symptoms longer. Professionals recommend gathering outside, wearing a mask when possible, and to stay home if you are sick.
Local governments can get money from the state in order to fight homelessness. The state set aside $1 billion to help localities with the homeless. Governor Newsom had paused funding 2 weeks ago. He wanted to create a more aggressive plan to address the homeless crisis. He claimed the original plan only reduced homelessness by 2% in 4 years. Newsom thinks giving grants directly to local governments will inspire them to be more ambitious. Local leaders must submit a proposal to the state for funds. There are reportedly more than 160,000 homeless people in California.
The city of La Puente was awarded a rehabilitation grant to fix up their park. Valley View News' Giovanni Galvez got to see the new renovations himself.
The city of La Puente spent roughly $20 million in the last 2 years repairing La Puente Park. The renovated park opened in June. Now, visitors rave about how much better it is. Alexis de la Rocha says the money was well spent.
I think that the money that's been invested to this park is 100% worth it. I think that us as human beings, it's really important to be healthy and happy in our hearts, and that in nature and in community is always a go.
Darla Maese believes the community and city workers did a great job refurbishing the park and keeping it clean.
I have my kids enrolled in activities here at the park. It's super safe, super clean. Every morning you'll see people, the workers cleaning, taking off graffiti anywhere they see. This place is immaculate.
During the summer, weekly events were held, and for Halloween there was a trick-or-treat event for the first time. Director of Community Services for the park, Alex BAUMAN, says people can enjoy the park in safety.
Sure. So yeah, we have a brand new park and you can't just let it sit here and go unused, right? The idea is that you want the right kind of people in the park so that the wrong type of people don't come here, right? You keep it busy, you keep it active, families feel safe, and more people start showing up.
New additions to the park like this soccer field are continuing to be added. The city has plans to add an amphitheater for its future musical events with its festivals. Reporting for Valley View News, I'm Giovanni Galvez.
LA County caregivers are pushing for higher wages. The county pays them $16 an hour. That's just 4 cents above the minimum wage. Caregivers wearing purple shirts protested at the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting last month. They're represented by the SEIU union and want to be paid $20 an hour. More than 245,000 people get caregiver assistance through the county. The Department of Social Services says there's more than 200,000 caregivers. LA County's chief executive says the wage demands are being evaluated.
California law will soon maximize health insurance subsidies for workers during labor strikes. Companies freezing benefits for union workers is common during labor disputes. The new requirement will stop employers from revoking benefits by upping the maximum amount of coverage workers can apply for during labor disputes. The bill is supported by the California Labor Federation. Eligible workers will also have their insurance premiums covered. It takes effect next July.
The LA City Council approved the Fair Work Week ordinance. It'll require retail employers to post work schedules 14 days in advance and to give a 10-hour rest periods between work shifts. Councilman Curran Price proposed the ordinance in 2019. He said there are times when concerns about people's needs should be more important than profits. The UCLA study shows that 80% of 140,000 employees in retail have unpredictable working schedules.
More people are using food stamps this year than ever before. Participation in the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, peaked at 4.9 million people in July. It dropped to 4.6 million in August. SNAP had its highest usage in 2020 during the pandemic when people were given extra money. In California, Governor Newsom said the COVID-19 emergency fund ends in February. The California Food Assistance Program is available to families and people over 55. Including immigrants without documentation.
Some UC graduate workers are still picketing the 10 university campuses. The strike started November 14th and paused during Thanksgiving. 48,000 employees represented by the United Auto Workers include teaching assistants, researchers, and tutors. The UAW demands a $54,000 minimum salary. A union survey found that 92% of graduate workers are rent burdened. UC and the union do agree on working environment and workplace accessibility issues, but the wage proposals remain a sticking point.
The Biden administration is extending the pause on federal student loan repayments while the courts consider the forgiveness program's future. The pause was supposed to expire January 1st, but lawsuits opposing the relief plan forced this latest extension. The administration thinks it's unfair to ask borrowers to pay a debt that likely would be forgiven if it were under $20,000 for some and $10,000 for others. Meanwhile, California lawmakers are preparing legislation to make sure the forgiven debt isn't taxed.
New data shows that community college enrollment dropped to its lowest level in 3 decades. Santa Monica College President Catherine Jeffrey says the pandemic forced many families to reevaluate their educational priorities. Enrollment among 20 to 29-year-olds dropped 50%. Jeffrey says classes for spring 2023 are just 60% enrolled. Pre-pandemic numbers had 80% of students on campus classes, while 20% learned online.
The Franchise Tax Board released its California Inflation Relief Check schedule. Almost 18 million payments will be made. Payments range from $200 to $1,050. Forms of deposits determine payment dates. Payments will go out in last name alphabetical order. Deposits take 3 to 5 days to process. Debit card mail-ins take up to 2 weeks.
Santa Clarita approved a sports complex to expand activities for families. Valley View's Jesse Barrientos reports.
Santa Clarita approved a $3.3 million contract this week for a sports complex in underdeveloped areas. It'll have 3 full-size multi-purpose fields, 1 multi-purpose field, bike paths, a track, and a dog park. Brian POLYNICE, a coach and trainer, likes this for the kids.
An outlet for kids just to get out and to do more stuff outside of their high schools and outside. That way they can just get out and do more things. I think that's a good thing. 3.3 million, that's a lot. So that's a lot of things that kids can do out here and have fun with.
People gather to play basketball inside the complex or the outdoor courts or even the volleyball courts outdoors. Esteban Vera plays here with his family whenever he's back in town.
This is my first time hearing it, so I'm pretty excited to see what the city has to offer. The basketball courts, a lot of people come to play there. The skate park, I'm excited to see what they have to add with those $3.3 million.
The complex has a small body weight fitness center outside. There are hiking and biking routes, but POLYNICE says the gym keeps kids busy.
For the kids to have something to do after school, because there's not too many places that we have out here that we can have kids go and play basketball indoors.
All of this represents efforts to budget more money for parks and other outdoor activities in Santa Clarita. A new park is coming on Via Princesa, and now these new additions to the sports complex. There's going to be more outdoor activities in the future with no cost. Reporting from Santa Clarita, I'm Jesse Barrientos, Valley View News.
Gas dropped by 16 cents this past week. The national price is down to $3.61. The American Automobile Association ranks California second in the nation among states with the most expensive gas. The state averaged $5.16 as of November 23rd. Hawaii leads with $5.20. Prices are cheapest in southern states, with prices closer to $3. Texas is the cheapest at $2.95 a gallon.
Chicken prices increased while the cost of beef decreased. Chicken and turkey rose 17% since last year. The cost of beef and veal went down 3.6%. Avian flu affected the prices for chickens used for egg production, so egg prices went up 43%. Chicken feed also increased. Consumers are paying an average of 8% more this year for groceries.
More to come on Valley View News. More than 100 geese and ducks were found dead in Minnesota, and an Arizona community will run out of water by the end of the year.
When you graduate, they graduate.
Today, tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Act now. Even small amounts make a big difference. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
For a look at international news, here's Savanah Taylor in our Digital Media Center.
Protests against China's zero-COVID policy spread to Shanghai and other cities after 10 people were killed in an apartment fire northwest of Urumqi. Witnesses say Shanghai police pepper sprayed about 300 protesters last Saturday at a candle lighting. Videos posted on social media shows protesters fighting with police. China's ruling government faces criticism about the economic and human cost of its very strict COVID policies. Iran sent troops to strengthen its northern border against what is said to be an infiltration by Kurdish opposition groups. The deployment is meant to stop weapons smuggling. The movement comes after Iraq pushed for more security along their side of the border with Iran. So far, Iranian officials say they don't plan military ground operations. Former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the UK's Circle Health Hospital are teaming up to launch an appeal to send medical supplies to Ukrainian hospitals. Johnson visited a warehouse in North London where supplies are gathered and housed. The visit was to see firsthand the logistics of transporting the donations. A team of Ukrainian doctors are working to inform people about equipment shortages in real time. So far, hundreds of wheelchairs, crutches, and ventilators have been delivered to hospitals throughout Ukraine. Dominican Republic authorities deported at least 1,800 unaccompanied migrant children back to Haiti. The two countries share a 240-mile border on the island of Espanola. The Dominican Republic government intensified its migration policy and now has specific procedures for handling children. According to figures from the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, about 44,000 migrants were deported. The majority of them were Haitian. In September and October, deportation figures were about 50%. Girls and boys are fleeing Haiti. Haiti is currently facing a cholera outbreak and ongoing gang violence. UNICEF awaits at the border to receive the children. It's not clear whether the parents were present when the children were expelled. Honduras became the second Central American country to declare the state of emergency against gang crime. For years, gangs have engaged in extortion by charging protection money for buses, taxi drivers, and store owners. Honduran President Xiomara Castro wants to limit constitutional rights in order to combat gang extortion. The limits would allow law enforcement to round up gang members more easily. Transportation workers are concerned for their safety if they can't pay the debts. In 2020 alone, 50 drivers were killed, bringing the total to 2,500 in the past 15 years. World Cup ticket sales skyrocketed. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said organizers sold about 3 million total tickets before the competition started. The 10 countries that purchased the most tickets include Qatar, Mexico, England, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Argentina, and the U.S. Aside from the host nation, USA fans purchased the most tickets to the World Cup. Over 240,000 hospitality packages were also sold, breaking the World Cup record. Back to you guys in the studio.
Some Panorama City families get a chance to learn about composting. Valley View News reporter Emily Cuellar joined in to learn a bit about it as well.
There's a hidden gem in Panorama City, Cottonwood Farm. Partnered with Compost Service Compostable, the community was welcomed with a farm day.
This whole area used to be filled with large acreage land that has been slowly subdivided, and this has been sitting here, and it's to try to hold this open green space so that people can come get a little break from the city.
There were farm tours, plant seed stations, and wreath making.
It's really important, and especially kids like myself who grew up in the city, for them to have the power and be empowered to grow their own food and to have a close connection with their food.
Families donated clothing and recycled electronics. The idea was to create a relationship with local ecosystems.
They could see where their food scraps are composted, make waste visible again, and make the food system visible again.
It's a little more, you see how it's a little more sticky.
Vendors educated on the benefits of shopping local.
And raise awareness about sustainability when it comes to beekeeping, when it comes to harvesting honey, which people love, but they're not always aware of all the practices that go into producing honey.
To learn about composting, Cottonwood Farm is open to the public on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Reporting from Panorama City, I'm Emily Cuellar for Valley View News.
Mexican prosecutors have filed charges against an American accused of killing fellow American Shanquella Robinson, who was seen being beaten in a viral video. The Baja California Sur prosecutors approached Mexican federal prosecutors and diplomats in an attempt to get the suspect extradited to face charges in Mexico. An arrest warrant has been issued for the suspect. Robinson, who was traveling with a group, died at a resort development in San Jose del Cabo. The group left Mexico after Robinson was found dead in the rented villa.
Authorities are investigating why more than 100 geese and ducks were found dead on a southeastern Minnesota lake. The dead birds were found on the partially frozen Loon Lake. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources has launched the investigation into what caused the tragedy. Wildlife Health Supervisor Michelle Karstensen says that after the University of Minnesota tested the birds to see what caused them to die, she believes that they found the reason.
It's likely that the birds might have been feeding in an area where moldy grain was available and then succumbing quite quickly to this infection.
It's recommended for people to stay away from the dead birds due to the risk of getting infected.
Whole Foods has decided to stop selling Maine lobster caught in the Gulf of Maine. Their decision to pull lobster from its shelves has led to a division between environmental groups and politicians and fishermen. Whole Foods says it aims to protect the highly endangered North Atlantic right whale. The whales often die after getting tangled in fishing gear used to trap the lobster. Less than 340 North Atlantic right whales exist today. Whole Foods is not the first retailer to decide to stop selling Maine lobster.
More than 500 homes in the desert community of Rio Verde, Arizona, will run out of water by the end of the year. The residents of Rio Verde have tried for years to resolve the coming crisis. Homeowners will have to find their own sources of water for drinking, bathing, and doing laundry. One resident, John Hernewer, says people don't value water.
Water is more precious than you realize, and once you go to your faucet and you turn it on, there's no water, then its value becomes real.
Residents say the local government hasn't offered any solutions, leaving many in Rio Verde feeling abandoned.
Volunteers cleaned beaches at a Heal the Bay area event. Valley View News reporter Andrea Gonzalez was there as they worked.
Heal the Bay has cleaned Los Angeles beaches since 1985. It wants beaches along the coast to be safe, healthy, and clean.
The goal is really to get the public engaged, so to understand why it's important to clean up our beaches and just to understand how things are connected.
This recent cleanup included friends and families volunteering to pick up trash.
To make a difference in terms of getting that trash out, but really just to be educated, to learn a little bit and share that information.
I actually thought it was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be so full-fledged, but I think it's really cool that a lot of people came out, and I just think it was a good time, yeah.
As hundreds of people volunteered to clean up the beach today, its goal is to provide better beaches and cleaner oceans. Reporting for Playa del Rey for Valley View News, I'm Andrea Gonzalez.
Elon Musk grants amnesty for many Twitter accounts. The decision comes after a poll the new Twitter CEO conducted. The poll attracted over 3.1 million votes. 72.4% of voters were in favor of reinstatement. Both Donald Trump and Kanye West received their platforms again. Twitter's new policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. According to Twitter, the app will demonetize and not promote tweets engaging in hate speech or negative content.
The University of Maine has made the first 3D printed home made entirely from recyclable materials. Much of the 600 square foot house is made with wood waste from sawmills and bio-based materials. The home comes in pieces ready to be assembled, complete with doors, windows, and electrical wiring, and installation already built in. The house's engineers hope the project is the first step in tackling a labor shortage and lack of affordable housing in Maine.
When we come back, Jennifer Lopez announces her new album. Also, NASA's Orion captures pictures of the moon. Stay with us.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Singer and actress Irene Cara dies at 63. The Grammy winner, best known for the movie Fame, died at her home in Florida. Cara's publicist confirmed her death via the artist's Twitter account. It says that the cause of death is currently unknown.
Uganda's dancing sensation, the Ghetto Kids, will be performing in Qatar at the World Cup. The group has been given an all-expense-paid trip to Qatar and say the trip is a dream come true. The dance group posted a video on YouTube that went viral. It shows the group's creativity by expressing what they thought a World Cup finale might look like. In the video, they danced to the official 2022 World Cup song, Haya Haya.
Jennifer Lopez announces her latest album, her first in 8 years. The album is called This Is Me Now, and according to a press release, focuses on the journey the singer has made over the past 20 years. The album also features a new song called Dear Ben Part 2, a nod to her husband Ben Affleck. Affleck and Lopez broke up in 2004 but have since reunited and were married last August.
Disney's new movie Strange World is expected to lose $147 million in its theatrical run. The film's debut racked up $28 million globally in what is considered a bomb at the box office. With Bob Iger stepping in as Disney's CEO, there's a thought that big-budget productions will still be released in the theaters, while lower-budget movies will go straight to Disney+. Strange World will move to stream on Disney+ around Christmas time.
Award-winning artist Lizzo is releasing a new documentary on HBO Max. The 34-year-old rapper, singer, and musician released a new documentary, Love Lizzo, over Thanksgiving weekend. Lizzo, originally named Melissa Jefferson, is showcasing her long journey from playing the flute in obscurity to becoming a chart-topping celebrity. The Grammy winner is well known for her body positivity and fearless honesty.
NASA's new unmanned Orion spacecraft recently captured detailed images of craters on the moon's surface. Orion captured these pictures only 80 miles away from the craters and hills that litter the moon's landscape. NASA scientists suspect that some of the craters contain water and ice, and they want to harvest it. The goal is for the Orion capsule to one day carry up to 6 astronauts to the moon to collect samples. Orion is part of NASA's Artemis program, which aims to eventually create a permanent lunar outpost.
Those pictures are really, kind of part of this process of getting a human presence in deep space for the first time.
If all goes well, astronauts may step foot back onto the moon in 2025.
Simi Valley has a unique landmark that welcomes visitors to the community. Valley View News' David Reyes met the creator of the site.
Heading westbound on the 118 freeway towards Simi Valley, on a hillside, is a landmark from 1998. It's the Happy Face Hill. Kurt Solomon is impressed by the Happy Face.
Kind of unique. I've never seen one before that's carved out of the natural shrubbery or out of the grass. They mowed a circle.
This unique site was made by retired gardener SONNY KLAMERUS.
Because of me, if you look up Happy Face Hill, you're going to get a picture of that. So that hill is Happy Face Hill because of me. And I think that's cool.
SONNY did it by himself using his own equipment.
Like I said, the Roundup, sprayed that. That's in the spring. And then later on in the year, I would use the string trimmer to knock down the dead foliage.
KLAMERUS has a message for Simi Valley residents.
Smile, and smile with vertical eyes and a real smile, ear to ear. I did it for you.
Right now, the Simi Valley Rotary Club is who maintains Happy Face Hill. They've been maintaining it for around 10 years, ever since SONNY couldn't do it himself anymore. In Simi Valley, for Valley View News, I'm David Reyes.
The Los Angeles Chargers beat the Arizona Cardinals 25-24 on a 2-point conversion in the final movements of the game. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert threw for 274 yards with 3 touchdowns. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray threw for 191 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Cardinals running back James Conner totaled 120 rushing yards. The Chargers are 6-5 and are holding on to their second-place spot in the AFC West Division, while the Cardinals are 4-8 and third in the NFC West Division.
The Los Angeles Rams' visit to the Kansas City Chiefs ended in a loss 10-26. Los Angeles struggled throughout the game on both offense and defense. The Rams are without their starting quarterback Matthew Stafford and star wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Rams quarterback Bryce Perkins had 144 total yards with his first career touchdown pass and 2 interceptions. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes had 356 total yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. The Rams will host the Seattle Seahawks at the SoFi Stadium. Kickoff is on Sunday at 1:05 p.m. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Camille Acevedo.
And I'm Lockie Walker. For stories any time of the day, go to our website, csunvalleyview.edu. Thanks for watching.